Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FTR Season 2, here for the first race, the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're going through to set our first lap in qualifying. It's a 17.6. Now this was done with no ERS and with a load of fuel, so not really a representative time. I went out of the softs just to start to get a banker lap in. We're actually going to try for a lap on mediums now, about halfway through the session. Hopefully we can start on the mediums and go to the hards for the second stint. That appears to be the fastest strategy from the practice races that me and Alex were doing. But Spain, it's an okay track. I don't mind it, but I'm not very quick at it. It's a pad track. Alex is insanely quick at Spain, so I'm expecting him to win. If I can keep pace with Casper to try and at least maybe get a podium, that'd be good. But we're going to have to see how that goes. As you can see, we're about nearly 5/10 up, about 4/10 now as we come through the first few corners. Goes to turn 7, making sure not to invalidate here. I do take it quite cautiously through there, probably another 10th or so on the cards, but we do slowly improve our time as we're going through. Just to finish Sector 2 now, we are over a second up thanks to actually deploying some ERS and having low fuel. We've also fueled the car up for 2 runs, just in case we invalidate the lap time. And we're only 100th down on Casper's time going through Sector 2 as Alex goes and sets a 15.4 on the medium tyres, I believe. As we're coming through the final chicane now, we absolutely clatter the first curve, so we're going to lose all of our time. As you can see, we've dropped so much time over time. We've lost about 5 so we actually invalidate the lap time there. Being a bit lazy, getting a bit flustered with the final chicane. So what we've done is we've essentially ruined our first and second run. But we had enough fuel in the car, so we saved up the fuel and we're going to go again now. And hopefully we're going to make this lap stick. So whilst we're riding on board with this lap, I'll run you through the what's going to be happening. I'm unfortunately going to miss round 2 in Abu Dhabi. I did practice for this race because, you know, I thought I might as well help a teammate a bit. Which kind of sucks. This has been recorded a long time ago. And this, the reason I'm missing round 2 is because the Will the Tanks campaign was on. So I kind of needed to play every single night for that. Which it sucked massively because Abu Dhabi is a massively strong track for me. And from the practice races that we did and from what I saw on the stream, I probably would have at least come second in that, at the very least, maybe even won. But oh well, it is what it is. As you see now, coming through into the final sector of the lap, where it says we're purple in the first 2 sectors, but that's not true. The game is glitched a little bit, but we are massively up, 1.3 seconds up on our previous best. Coming through the final chicane now, we get a much cleaner run through there, rotate the car nicely, making sure not to invalidate the lap time as we go through the final corner, and up to line we improve by 1.4.5 seconds, and that puts us P5 on the mediums. So a pretty decent lap. And actually stick it out on the mediums, and we come P6 in the end. I believe FTR C-Night improved, or it might be Wax. But so far, everyone that's started on the mediums has the strategic advantage, so let's hope that we can make some progress in this race. Oh, we're going to be loading in. I should probably go through the driver list, actually, to explain who is in which car, etc, etc. So let me just pull that up quickly now. See, obviously me and Alex were both starting in the Alfa Romeo. As you see, where we're doing the one-stop strategy, going mediums to hards, overfueling the car because Spain does use quite a substantial amount of fuel. Plus, I don't really think there's going to be a safety car, and there isn't, you know, many safety cars. So we'll load it for the grid. So looking at the cars, we're actually getting underway, so I should probably work out this first. So 5 red lights, and it's away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. Bit of a rushed start there for me. We actually get a very shocking start compared to Economic Berry there, who is Casper's teammate. Very non-communicative teammate. So we go into turn 1. We're actually going to get overtaken around the outside and the inside by Raz Callum. Economic Berry makes contact with Hawks up ahead and he gets wing damage. He's going to be pretty much out of contention for this race. Callum goes massively wide on the exit of turn 3, so we're going to try to slip up the inside here into turn 4. He continues to go wide, and that's us back into P6. Now we've got F1 Hawks to deal with. Alex has actually made a move on Chris, so he's up into P2. Wax, also another very fast driver, is currently in first place on the soft tyres, but he's going to have to make 2 stops as Hawks gets massively out of shape there, and he loses a position to not only myself but also Callum. So we're now up into P5, and now we're right behind Casper, and hopefully we can start to close him in a bit. It's going to be very difficult with the DRS train, and also it's very setup dependent. Now I know for a fact that Chris was struggling with what setup to run. I'm currently running 4.9 wings out here, but Chris is running 6.10, I believe. So realising that, he is going to be absolutely just monstered on the straights, but for the final sector he's going to be very good, as we get a little snap of oversteer on the exit of the curb there. And we complete the first lap. We are still in P5, and Callum isn't really looking to challenge us. As now we cut on to lap 6, we've closed up to the back of FTR C-Night. His soft tyres are wearing off quite a bit. He's already picked up a 3-second penalty, and we're going to go through the final corner. We're going to use a bit of overtake and the DRS and Richard. We're just going to fly past him here. Our lower wings proving to be a lot more effective than his high downforce setup, especially in a straight line, so that's an easy position for us. So we're in effective P3, I'd say, in this race, because Wax up ahead still has to make a pit stop. As we come on to lap 7, I believe Wax is going to peel into the pits. Yes, he is. So that's going to promote us up onto the podium. As Alex says, the fastest lap of the race, we come across our fastest lap is a 19.1. Alex has already pulled our massive lead over Casper. As you can see, cut on to lap 11 now. I believe this, yep, we get our first penalty. Bit inconsistent there, or a bit lazy rather from me to get a penalty. And also I've got very lazy with my ERS management this race, which is it's a bit poor from me, but that does improve over the course of the season, which is good. As you can see, Casper actually pulls an undercut here. I believe he did a lot of laps on those mediums, and then this lap Alex is going to come into the pits to fit on the hard. So Casper's going to have a 1-lap undercut on Alex and a 2-lap undercut on me, but unfortunately that doesn't really affect Alex. He's still got a 3-second lead over Casper. Now we're coming to the pits, so I'm going to take this opportunity to quickly run through the driver list. So you've got FTR C-Night and Websy in the Mercedes. You've got Bastonator and Wax in the Red Bull. In the Racing Point, you've got Callum and F1 Hawks. In the Ferrari, I think everyone's racing the Ferrari this weekend. I think one person might be Bennett or Real Weevil. McLaren, you've got Economic Berry and Casper. Renault, you've got Word Gorilla, and a new person who's coming into the league. This is obviously very updated. With I think this was updated about 2 days ago. Anyway, let's ignore that. We're on the hard tyres. It's lap 16. I don't think anyone else. The Williams, you've got Oslo Fish and AMS Shui, Alpha Tauri, Lucky 7 and Express Cupid. As we pick up another penalty, they're up to 6 seconds. So Casper doesn't have any penalties, which is kind of concerning. But, you know, it is what it is. We're going to hopefully hope that he gets a couple of penalties. Alex is looking good so far. He's on 3 seconds of penalties, but he's got a 4.2 second lead over Casper. And now we've just got to try and hunt Casper down with 2-lap fresher hard compound tyres. We get a bit low on fuel and we're massively low on ERS, which is not good for race pace. We've got 12 laps left of this Grand Prix. So we're going to hopefully try and reel Casper in a bit as we go purple in the first sector. I was communicating constantly with Alex. I don't know whether you're able to hear this over the sound of my squeaky brake pedal. I do apologise. I really need COVID to end so I can get a load of money and get an actual rig that doesn't have a squeaky pedal. But I was communicating with Alex constantly, explaining when Casper was using ERS. Because with Spain, it's very difficult to get ERS back. So I'm communicating with him constantly, telling him that Casper's using ERS, where he's looking slow, so on and so forth. And now I believe this is going to be our fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Coming through the final sector now, we've actually closed up on Casper by about 2/10 this lap. I expect him to be very low. Excuse me. I expect it to be very low on ERS, just given how much he's been burning. We're also burning quite a bit as we come across and we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at an 18.1. This is good though that Casper's using a lot of ERS, because this means that Alex up ahead is actually saving a lot, and I believe he's got 90% of his ERS remaining, so you know, he's not going to be under threat too much come the end of the race, especially if Casper picks up a penalty. As you can see, the gap up ahead is 7 seconds to my teammate. He's dropping Casper quite a bit. We've actually reeled him in here on that 28 gap star 1.3 seconds, so I'm starting to feel that I could get P2 here. And what an amazing result that would be, especially at a weak track for me. I say a weak track, I love it, but it's not my best track. But at Spain, first race of the season, get a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo. That would be the first ever 1-2 in FTR. It's never happened before. So I'd love to try and get that, so we're going to try and hunt Casper down a lot. We do have 6 seconds of penalties, so we're just going to hope that Casper picks up a couple, but he's looked to be extremely consistent, and that is one thing with Casper, he's very consistent. But as we're coming through the final sector now, I'm pushing so hard to try and get within that DRS as Wax sets the fast lap, and we've actually dropped it on the exit of turn 13, I believe, or turn 12. We've absolutely clattered the wall, and we've lost our front wing. We've lost most of our front wing. So we're going to have to come into the pits. We're going to bolt on a set of soft compound tyres. There's an absolutely huge mistake there from me. I had P3 secured in position, and now we've thrown it away. So we're going to come into the pits. We've lost a position to FTR Knight, who gets promoted up into P3. We're probably going to lose a position to Callum because of the front wing change. But we are going to be on fresh softs, and that is a good thing, because these softs are completely fresh. I never used them in qualifying. So we've got to hope. We've got 50 seconds back to Webster. Obviously that's going to come down massively once we get out of the pits, but that's about 20 seconds, I think. And now we've got 8 seconds to make up on Callum, but we are going to be at least 2 seconds a lap faster than him, and we've got 50% ERS. So this is going to be interesting. As we now cut on to lap 30, we have 4 laps remaining. In that one lap, we managed to pull about 2 seconds, or pull Callum about 2 seconds closer to us. And Callum's actually picked up a 3-second penalty. So if he gets one more, we have very much in contention to get back P4 and try and salvage something from this race. If not, we've got to hope we catch him within the next lap or two and maybe pull out a gap as we go. Purple in the first sector. This is going to be the fastest lap of the Grand Prix that we're going to be setting here. Come out of turn 5, I think.
Yeah, she's just going to be lying now.
Yes, turn 5. Go through the turn 7 and 8 complex. Absolutely flow the car really nicely through there. Try not to pick up another penalty, because we don't really want that, as we get another warning. As I say that, I shouldn't have opened my mouth, but oh well. I'll go through into the last sector. Went a bit wide, missed the apex a little bit there, but not really that much of an issue, as that sort of opens up the other the following corners for us. Use all of the exit space. I've got to say, this car felt on rails. I was as Casper actually retires from the session. I believe he said he got a puncture around turn 3, so those hards must have blown really early. That was very unlucky for him, as we come across to a set of 16.5. So we could potentially be on for a P3 finish here, but we've got to absolutely gobble Callum's time up in this lap. That's so unlucky for Casper. He said he got a puncture. I don't really see how the hards would get a puncture, but you know what this game is like sometimes. So that's very unlucky for him. He was on set for a P2, and at this point I was so pissed off with myself, because this would have been an easy one too if I hadn't have spun. But it happens as we pick up another penalty, because I'm just overdriving the car at this point. So we're definitely not getting P3 in this race, but I was supposed to try and catch up and beat Callum on track. And we're going to be right on board for the rest of this race now. As you can see, the gap is ever coming down. And well, I mean, it's still doable if Callum picks up another penalty on this lap. We've still got 2 laps to get in front of him, but we're very low on ERS. The soft tyres won't be as worn as his hards, but they will be wearing off quite a bit, so our pace advantage will be dropping massively, as you can see coming through on this lap. Our previous was a 16.5, this time we do a 17.4, so that's nearly 9/10 slower than what we did on the last lap. But the gap is like 1.4 seconds ahead. And what I'm aiming for here is just bragging rights on track. I know I'm not going to win. He's got to get 6 seconds of penalties in the space of 2 laps, and Callum is a very consistent driver. He doesn't get penalties all too much, so we've just got to try and get him on track. And I also think he's running a similar setup to me, and he still has a lot of ERS remaining. We've only got 15%, which is nowhere near enough to make an overtake. We've just got to hope that we get an absolutely monstrous run as we pick up another warning. So I think we've got one more warning in the bag. We're very safe to economic barrier behind in 5th, so we're not going to get a penalty for it. But we've also got to save fuel as we've dipped into the red now. So on this last lap, we've got fuel to save. We've got ERS that's just non-existent. Our tyres are going off. It looks like it's going to be P4, which isn't too bad. We're going to improve on our actual position, but we'd love to at least try and get P3, given that we're going to have to be missing Abu Dhabi, which, with the benefit of hindsight, I would have done, because I only stuck in the campaign because I would have got a tank. But anyway, that's World of Tanks. It's not F1. We're closer massively to the back of Callum now, but unfortunately there just isn't enough length left in the straight. There's not enough ERS left in the tank, so I'm going to save my ERS. And I'm either going to get him into turn 4 if we get a good run, or I'm going to get it into turn 10. As you can see, Callum is low on ERS as well. You can see that rear red light flashing. That means he's below 10%. So hopefully as we're going round the outside, but there isn't a gap that emerges. I do have a little look, but I decide better of it. But we've still got to save fuel. We're still 0.05 lap down on fuel. Coming through turns 7 and 8 now, we get another warning. So we've only got one more before we get a penalty. It's pretty much secured as Alex actually wins the race. An absolutely dominant drive by him. And now we're going to try and burn all of our ERS, try and get past Callum's weaving. Callum's got too much speed. We try and go for a move around the outside, but Callum blocks us off and he keeps holding that position. Now our last hope is to try and get him on the run to the line, maybe into one of these final corners. We're not going to get P3, but I just want to try. This is a fantastic little battle we're having. Go through the final chicane. Rotate the car lovely, short shift, get a good exit. We've got an amazing exit here, so we're going to deploy all of our overtake. We've got DRS as well, we're going to run to the line, and it's only, I think it was 63 hundredths that was in it. That was very close, but obviously we had the penalties, so that puts us 6 seconds behind. We weren't going to get that position. I just thought we'd try for it, just for bragging rights. Overall, fantastic result for my teammate, so I'm happy. He's won the first race of the season. But I fucked up really. I should have got P2 there, but I pushed the car too hard, and I got bit for it.
Oh, he got puncture.
Did he?
Yeah, he said his front left just blew up. Well, that's good then, because he pitted a lap before me, and my tyres are completely fine. So his tyre must be shocking.
Oh, I'm so annoyed I spoke, because I would be wanting to as well. Fucking hell. I swear I can never get
She's
over
put the bloody rack on her knee. What's she doing that for? She's dead. Yeah, I know it blinked. I didn't like that.
Oh, well done.
Why did it?
Happy
Oh,
for
you're
you.
stealing the baby now.
Thank you.
You're dying. Why is it blinking?
Oh, I'm getting invited to the commentators
Why is
party
it
for the
blinking?
Wait,
podium.
who's the-
So as you can see, my teammate wins from FTR and I over Callum, and then myself in 4th, Berry 5th, Websy 6th, Wax 7th from 1st. The 3-stop not really working out for him. Don't know whether he conceded damage or whether he just went to go for fastest lap. Then Bastinade was in 9th, and Reeled Weevil picks up the final points position 10th. And there you can see the standings for the first round. Callum gets driver of the day. He had a very good race, so he's a deserved driver of the day. We pick up fastest lap, so that's an extra point for us. Callum also gets the extra point for driver of the day. So with that in mind, I believe once we go on to the constructors, because I decided that apparently we need an entire minute to look at, well, only one I say English, one round of this season 2 of FTR. We'll go to constructors soon, but if you would like to join FTR, if you do play F1, it's currently on the Xbox. I don't know if there are plans to move it to a different platform in the future, but at the moment we play on Xbox Saturdays and Sundays, are the main league. So if you want to join, I'll try and remember to leave my name in the Discord. Leave my Discord name in the description below. If not, I think I already have it in one of my older FTR videos from season 1. So go check those out. If you want to hit me up on Discord, I'll invite you to the server. As you can see, look at the constructors. Alfa Romeo are in first with 38 points, followed by Mercedes and then Racing Point. Obviously, 4 teams that currently don't have drivers not getting any points. But yeah, that was an annoying race. I was very frustrated with myself afterwards. You probably heard it, but it happens. I guess we just got to try and hope for a better result in the next race, which will be, for me, the Italian Grand Prix. So I will see you for round 3 very soon.